Hi, gang. So I had my turns wrong on this. This was the 20 May turn. I had to go back through and check all the reinforcements I brought in. I had this all mixed up. So this was the Allied half. So the second half of the 20 May turn. Yeah, 1940. So I'm gonna tell you this: the French and the Belgians. I can't answer to the Brits yet, but they don't look too much better. The Brits, some of the infantry Brits look much better. The ARs are terrible. I had an attack. Get over here where we can look at it. All right. Well, the first thing I did with the French was artillery barrage. All that British stuff right there, I used that. All the Belgian stuff, I used that. Got some DGs. I think I even got a step loss on that unit right there. DG'd the only Panzer unit that wasn't touched over here. I think that's 5th Panzer, I'm not sure. DG'd 7th Panzer here with that one lucky, there's 2 artillery pieces there, 30. I mean, I did some ass because I really didn't have many attacks. The aircraft for the Allies is pathetic. Some of the fighters are okay, but you've got no bomber types that are worth a nickel. And yes, I did try to use them, but I just no success whatsoever. They just got chased away. So I probably just need to, I don't know, just maybe hold the fighters. I mean, even the freaking surge stuff, just not worth a nickel. So did some barraging, and then I said, okay, well, let's do a couple attacks. So we attacked over here with that 18 strength 4-step unit against that little 4-3. I think it was like 5-1. And that son of a gun, because of their AR rating, ended up with an AL2. So he took 2 step losses against that measly little breakdown unit. Then we went over here to the edge of Antwerp, which is, I don't know. We're going to find out if that's going to collapse or not. And the Allies right there, both of those 2 18s, one of them's reduced, so he's only like 9. 9-1 attack on well, they were 6 straight points and they were DG'd, so they were down to 3. But they were in that damn village right there. And the attackers, the 2 French guys, took an AL101. Well, I wasn't about to retreat out of those 2 hexes right there, so the back guy there, he's already at 3 step losses, so I took 2 step losses off this guy up here. And then these guys had to retreat. Their option was take a loss and stay there. Well, they didn't need to do that, so they just fell back 1 hex. All right, so I think the storm is coming, depending on supply, because I'm going to tell you what, with the Germans, I pretty much burned up everything I had trying to make these little breakouts. And you see, the French still got a unit right there in Charleville. All right, it's only Hedgehog 1 now, but there's still somebody in there. Fix this thing here. And there was a unit in Namur. He ended up out of supply and he attrited. Matter of fact, he rolled a 10 on his AR2, and that's all steps. That little breakdown unit, he was still in supply going this way, trace supply. Just barely, too. I mean, so like I said, I burned up literally all that supply I had stacked. Where was it? Back in here somewhere. And that headquarters was throwing it forward. You can see all those Germans that are under low ammunition. So, priority to those units on the next turn is they have to be resupplied. And I got to read that rule because I'm being very specific about the priority has to be to resupply them. So if they can't, if the points are on the board and they can reach them, I think they have to be resupplied. I'll read that before I get to it. I mean, there's a little bit of supply back in here. I used some supply points to up these airfields so I could get these aircraft closer. Because I'm going to tell you what, one of the most devastating things on this game is the Luftwaffe. You don't have to pay supply tonnage to fly your missions. You just have to pay 1T per two aircraft units to refit them each turn, which is great, I think, in the overall picture here. All right, so I thought I'd take one last gasp at trying to condense or to contain that pocket. And after I got everything moved and I moved on to the next phase there, I realized, you know what, I don't see it happening. So, you know, I've tried to pull the troops here that were in the MERS. I left a couple of shimmy units up there to sort of slow any German advance down to make them at least fight a burn supply. I'm starting to pull back. Sure couldn't get very far. And, well, of course, some of them could, but because some couldn't go very far, I didn't want to pull everybody away and just sacrifice everything. So it's just going to be kind of a slow pullback. I don't know what's going to happen, though, because of all those Germans, if I get a big supply rule and all those Germans get back in supply, well, you know, they're going to have to actually burn points to come out of that status right there. So I don't know, you know, two of the victory conditions is they applied to the British Expeditionary Force. Mauled and destroyed, I think, are the two. Each one's worth a point. So right now, the Germans are sitting on 1 point for Holland surrendering. If they isolate those ports, that'll be 2. It'll move it up to 2. And if they capture those ports, that'll move it to 3. And then if they do the 2 phases on the British, that'll be 2 more. So that'll put them at 5. They would only need one more objective, which would be the Belgians would surrender because of those ports up there. And that would be 6. So I could focus on that side of the map right there. But then, you know, I could deter that by letting the British, not getting the British into their disastrous mauled state or destroyed state. So I think everybody was pretty keen on me pulling these guys out, which I'm trying to. Just not a lot there. And I'm going to tell you what, through the middle here, the French are getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And these panzers have not honestly been weakened yet. I mean, yeah, they've lost some units, but you can, you know, a mobile unit, you can rebuild it usually depending on what you get for replacement reinforcements or variable reinforcements. But they're still pretty strong. And I mean, come on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 panzer divisions over here, 2 motorized divisions, and that SS unit. So they're still pretty powerful. Thing is I need follow-up forces so those guys can get out. And I've got stuff coming up, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to shield all this. So, all right, so I'm still in the decision process. Still have not determined what I want to do with the Germans yet. But one of the things I think I need to do with the French is I think it's time to start pulling them out of here and maybe just give up Verdun and Metz. Or if I back off to Verdun, that would give me probably a good 10 to 12 units that I could pull back this way. So yeah, so if I pull off the Maginot there, back to Verdun, wait a minute. Shoot, maybe I have to give up Metz. Maybe pull back to the MERS where Verdun is right here. Yeah, that should allow some units to slide this way. The problem is these panzers, any supply put over here is going to go towards these panzers. The thing is now, is I'm literally down to die roll supply in the supply phase. So if the Germans don't roll something masterfully large to get that 20 or whatever it is points, they're going to have a hard time. I mean, they won't have a hard time holding the ground they got, but as far as moving any farther forward, that might be a problem. So I'm still kind of indecisive right now. I don't know whether to turn left over here and just crush all this stuff or turn right and deal with all that. I mean, it seems to me that the best option would be to turn right and go towards those ports and cut all that crap off, because I can stay mostly in Belgium to do that, and maybe get the Dutch to surrender, or the Belgians to surrender. What are the Belgians? Netherlanders? Is that what they are? Nederlanders? And then beat up on the British. It's either that or go down here and shoot down here and take Paris and get, I think that's 4 points for Paris. But I think that would be a feat. Although I think the Panzers could do it if they can string a line going down through there. But they got, like I said, have to use extenders. So like I say, supply now is on a die roll basis. Using the 2 rail cap for the Germans to get 2 forward. And other than that, it's going to have to be capturing British stuff, or Allied stuff. But I'm getting pretty smart about blowing dumps or moving the supplies out of the way. I wasn't early, but I am now. Really, with the Dutch, there wasn't much you can do over there. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they collapsed any faster than they did during 1940 for real. All right, well, there you got it. Any other ideas? Somebody holler at me. I can't see myself pulling off Antwerp and Brussels unless they're forced out of there. And if they do, I'm going back here to this line. Was it back in Belgium here? Was that Genoa over to whatever these towns are? Try that to keep those ports secure. I mean, I think that the Allies, I'm sure they can still do it. There's enough strength to do it. But I mean, if you figure if we collapse the Belgians and they get removed, granted, they're not a massive force, but there's still enough units there that can cover a hole in the line somewhere. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Gonna have to get after them, though. I know that. All right. And we'll keep up with the breakout over here. All right. So that's pretty much how it goes. Y'all put your comments down below. You know the deal. Come on, guys. Hit that darn like button. Subscribe if you want to keep up to date on this stuff, and hit that notify. That way you know what's going on. All right. So that's the Blitzkrieg legend. That's where we stand after the 20 May, at the end of the 20 May turn. All right, we'll get this posted so you all can let me know what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon.